Hey guys, it's Julia from Accessorize Your Life. Thank you for tuning into this video. I am back with the lovely ladies from BO40 to do a theme makeup look for April. This month we are focusing in on jazz awareness. So we were asked to choose a female jazz performer and create a look around her style. So I chose the great late Sarah Vaughan, and I'm not big into jazz. I have had an album of two before, and basically it was Dinah Washington because my dad liked her, and I just kind of remember the songs in the background, you know, of my mind or whatever. So I picked up an album of two of hers before. But when I start researching for this collaboration, Sarah Vaughan struck me as very interesting. She was born in 1924, and I'm going to put on some of Dior 001 Lip Maximizer to get started. So yes, born in March, the month of March 1924. And she was born in Newark, New Jersey, so kind of an East Coast girl, like myself. Well, kind of. I grew up on the East Coast. I was born in Texas. But anyway, she started out singing in the church, like a lot of artists do. And her parents were musicians. Her mom sung in the church choir. Her dad played, I think, guitar and some other instrument. So she came from a musical family. She really never had any traditional or training in music. She did, except for playing the piano, and she played the piano and the organ in church. And I think when she was about 18 years old, that's when she got out into the world, started her singing career. And it just blossomed from there on. She is a natural. I want to let you know that on my face, I went in with several primers, kind of mapped out my face according to what it needed. Currently, right in here, I want the makeup to just last all day and not break down and crack away from the skin. So I went in with a gripping primer from Revlon and placed that all in here, right in here in the number 11 lines, and a little bit here too. And then, because I wanted my foundation or makeup to just have a blur to it in the pores, I went in with the Smashbox Photo Primer here, right where I have all the texture, and that's pretty much everywhere, but on my nose, right in here, and on my chin. And finally, I went in with another primer, and is it here? I think it is. It was a little bit of this, gonna find it. Give me a minute. I know it's here. Oh yes, Pores Be Gone by First Aid Beauty, but there was another one and I don't see it right now. It's funny how things get away from you, but they do. But I moisturized my skin with Capture Total. So I'm going to be using a lot of Dior products. As a matter of fact, I just put on some of that lip maximizer just to get my lips ready for lipstick, and I feel the tingling. And I'm going to go in with a little bit of Poison from Dior. And the reason I chose Dior products is because the divine Sarah Vaughan wore a lot of Dior creations, like their gowns. And I just have to imagine that she did use their lipsticks, because I think their lipsticks were introduced in 1953, and then I think the whole Dior Cosmetics got off in about, I think I have here, 1969 or so. So I gotta think and believe that Sarah Vaughan would have used Dior makeup, perfume, things like that, because she had the most fabulous gowns. She was just mesmerizing, I want to say, and especially if you picture her in a nightclub where it's smoky, the lights are dim, but she comes through in this fabulous, glowing, just iridescent, sequined gown that, against all of that backdrop, would have been spectacular. She was also called sassy because she could stand up to any man, you know, in a club or anywhere. She was a smoker, drinker. I think she drank some, and she played cards. So she was a round the way girl. She did, you know, she could stand up and take care of herself. For my foundation, I went in with Dior in number 6 in. This is Dior Forever Skin Glow. For my concealer, I went in with number 5 in. That's the corrector, really. And also I did a little Dior powder here in deep. So now I'm ready to go in and do the eyes. I did set my eyes with a primer from Milk. And also I went in with Mario's setting powder for the eyes. So let's get going with the products. As I said, I'm going to be using a lot of Dior products. I have this beautiful palette here to use. I want to pull out some of those blues, and this one is the Blue Velvet palette. And then I have the Plum Toile palette. I want to maybe use some of those purples. And if I don't get what I need from there, I have this palette from Nomad Cosmetics. This is the New Zealand Stargazing palette, and there is a black there, and there is a purple there that will really ground my look. And I think I may start off with this first. Let's get going. Let's just do this. I am going to start off with the black here, and I'm just going to ground my look right here in the corner. So, do you listen to jazz? As of late, I gotta say I do not. Jazz is not my favorite genre, just because it's so choppy. It's just so, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's coming next, you know, when you hear jazz, if it's that free form jazz. When there's a singer involved, I'm usually a little more attentive and can tolerate it more. But there's something about the divine Miss Sarah Vaughan, the sassy Sarah Vaughan's voice, that is really captivating. She has a voice that is like something I don't hear too much of. There's several great performers who can take their voice into different octaves, if you will. I don't know the correct terminology. Don't even let me try to pretend that I know anything about music. But we're going to go in with this purple here a little bit. But she has a range of like 3 to 4 octaves, I guess, if that's what you call it. And she just can sound like an instrument. She can sound so light, so tender, so soft. And then she can go deep, 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 deep. I liken it to, you know, driving a muscle car to driving something like a very, well, the most luxurious car I know is a Lexus. I don't have any other experiences with luxury cars. Well, I have ridden in a Benz. I think I have written in a few others, but real smooth. Her voice can be so tender and smooth, and also so strong and just vivacious. Very, very nice. She could do so much with her voice, and it was all natural. It was all natural, and she was one to use the microphone to at arm's length to really bring it in and out to accentuate her voice. If you ever heard her sing, I think it was something Paradise Lullaby or something like that. Let me look. Lullaby of Birdland. Yes, that's what it is. You will really hear the range in her voice from that song. And if you've ever heard her sing Maria, you know from the musical, was it East Side, West Side, East Side, or whatever, you know that song Maria. Well, we all know it, and we know what to expect, you know. It's a love song, and it's beautiful. But when you hear her sing it, oh my gosh, it is something different. It is something mesmerizing. I came away feeling like I wanted my name to be Maria. I wanted to be a Maria. And I've never wanted another name other than the one I have that I was given. So that's saying something for me. I mean, just the way she handles that song, how her vowels, her pronunciation, and how she holds a note, just miraculous. Just miraculous. Now, I think I'm done with this palette. I've got the smokiness going on here. I wanted to say, for her makeup, I bet back in the day they did their own makeup. I mean, maybe they had someone, but I'm thinking she purchased her own makeup. She did her own makeup. Her brows were deep and they kind of went down. I will surely have a picture up over here somewhere. Let me move over. Yeah, the picture will go up right here. And her brows were down. The eyeshadows, actually, I'm just reminding myself, bring them up a little more, because her eyeshadows really, I'm just going to use what's left on the brush, went up to the brow line. Yes, they were high up. Now, I've seen some pictures where she's given herself or someone a serious, deep, dark wing in some of her photos. And one photo I saw of her, she had a white line going right here. That wasn't for me. But this look that I am trying to recreate really spoke to me from her. It just represented what I read about how she liked to dress, her gowns and everything, colorful and just beautiful. So this is the look I am trying to recreate from her. And I want to take this, just working with what's on the brush. And another thing I should mention is that her shadows weren't exaggerated, or they didn't come to a point. They were rounded here. So yes, you have to think about the time when she performed and the fact that makeup was still relatively new. Not everybody wore it. And certainly if you performed, I think you needed it just so that you could stand out and be seen, you know, on stage. I think her foundation was basic, not too much in the early days. She had a great figure in the early days, and really the gowns looked great on her. Everything looked great on her. And when she grew older, like in her 50s, I think in 60s, she wore something similar to what I have on, like a muumuu, almost on stage. Yeah, she had some beautiful ones, colorful ones that she wore. They were flowing. They were gowns, I guess, but they were like muumuus, in my opinion, when I look at the photos. So, yeah, I think that does it for that color there. Now I want to go in with a little bit of blue from this palette, because I think we really got a lot of that color going there. So I'm going to take a flat brush here, just a shader there, and lay that in the center. It's like a blue-gray. And I'm going to wipe off my brush because I feel like I have too much on it. Actually, I'm just going to get a fluffy brush and just kind of work that in around the sides. Yeah, I would really be interested in knowing who you favored as a jazz artist, if anyone. You know, that may not be everyone's genre. I have to say it definitely isn't totally mine, but when I do listen to it, I have a few favorites. And she put out a lot of music that you may have heard from musicals. She did Maria. She did, what did I say it was called? Lullaby of Birdland. She did Tenderly, which she was the first one to record. And she also did Black Coffee. That is the album from which I'm taking this look from. I go into this other blue here just to give it a look there. Now I notice also from that photo from the album cover, which Black Coffee is featured in, that she did not take her eyeshadows into the inner corner. So very rounded, very basic look that I've kind of added a few elements to. Now I want to go in with this purple in this palette right here. Let that dry. I am going to go into this palette that was from Dior for the holidays of 2023, I believe. So we're going to go into this palette and we're going to pick up some highlighter, and I don't know about blush, maybe some blush from here as well. So let me go in with my bronzer first. I want to get ahead of myself. So I have a stick bronzer contour, really, from Dior. We're going to put some here, 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 here. A little more than I should. A little more than I probably should put on. Let's find a brush that will work for this. I think this one will. And let's get busy. Just kind of blending that in. Now, Sarah Vaughan was a diva for fashion. She was a fashionista. I mean, like when I talk about those gowns and everything, she wore beautiful gowns and her style changed a lot. And I have to believe that if she were alive today, she would be wearing her hair natural. I think I even saw a picture where it looked pretty natural in the picture, but it could have been a curl, like a Jerry curl or something. But I have to believe that if she was alive to this day, she would have her hair natural or in locks, so to speak. I really feel like she would, because she was one to keep up with the fashions. Yeah, she set a trend for jazz singers. And by the way, she did not classify herself as a jazz singer. She really thought of herself as just a singer. She said she wasn't a blues singer either, but she felt like she had the blues in her. And you can hear that in her music. She could go from, in one song now, she could go from singing jazz to blues to opera. She could have been any kind of musician, musical singer that she chose to be. She could have been, you know, right up there with opera singers. Some people may say no, they don't think so, that she lacked certain qualities, but you hear it in her voice. Now, whether or not she had the pose for it or just the disposition, I want to say, for opera singing, I don't know, but she really could sing a wide range of notes, in my opinion. And you just hear it, just listen to various songs where it comes through. I don't think they were much for contouring. but I just had to do it. And that's going to get blended in a little more as I put on the other items. Like now I'm going to go into the highlighter from this palette and just put a little, I think there's a little highlighter right in here. At least the lights hit her face here, and it looks like her face is lighter right in here. I don't know if that was a thing back then. And then I'm going in with the blushes. I'm going to use both blushes. That one is bright. Just a little bit here. You know, you can always dab it on your hand before you go in ham. You don't have to be like me, just going straight in there and creating something you can't control. But yeah, she never classified herself as a jazz singer. I think she did a little bebop too. She brought that to life. She won awards, many awards, but she did get, I think it was a Grammy for her music, her singing. She traveled the world, and she generally played with a trio. I think she had a drummer, a bass, and piano player. And yeah, that's what she used. And her voice could imitate musical instruments. I'm just building this up, and I'm liking how it's looking. Now I want to go back in with my foundation brush and just kind of make sure that the outer corners here are rounded with this makeup, or eye makeup. And I think they are. Now let's go in with the mascara, and I'm going to use one of these. Let's see, I'm going to use the Iconic one, I think. One with the curve. Yeah, the Iconic. This is the over curl. I like the wand on this one. It's curved. So here we go with mascara. Of course, I have to get into some magnification to see what I've done there. Not bad. Okay. Now, she did wear a lot of eyeliner. Like I said, she wore a bad cat eye. She certainly did. No doubt about that. So I am going to go in with eyeliner I have here from Dior in black. And I may just smudge it out some. Not too much. But I'm going to start on the lower lash line. And that is doing it for me. I like that much better. You can see the smokiness there. What I noticed is that there was no shadow brought down to the lower lash line, but there was a little white line there. Like I said before, she did a white line up here, but in this look from this album that I'm taking my inspiration from, there was a white line right below the eyeshadow, I mean the liner. So let me clean up right in here a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in a little closer. Let's see if I can get this done. Not sure about it because it actually goes below the lash line, and I find that my skin is very textured and dry down here. So and then I will go in with the lipstick, and for this lipstick I will be using, I think it's, I'll leave it down, 785. I don't need to leave it down below. 785. Yeah, that's the look. And I'm going to step off and put on my earrings, and I will be right back to finish this look. I have my top on. I think this reflects something she would have worn in her earlier days because she loved color and she loved sequins as much as anything else. I think the face is basically done. I do want to add a little touch that I noticed in that album cover as well. I went back in, I should say, and put a little more eyeshadow up to the brow bone into the eyebrows, and I added earrings. She loved large pieces of jewelry, and she was bigger than life, I think. So we're gonna just take this same thin brush and go right on the lips here. And now I want to just take a little bit of that off. There we go. And now I want to go in with some powder. I want a fluffy brush. First of all, I'm going to go in, before I go in with powder, I'm going to go in with a little bit of bronzer. And hit those areas right here. Should be further back. And now a little powder. You know what? I feel like I need still a little bit more of blush. And I have a blush here from Becca that is no longer available because, you know, Becca's gone out of business. But I like this color, and I think it really picks up on the color she used. Just take some off because I do want my blush to show up. Yeah, like that. Uh-huh. Like that. Reminds me of her song Tenderly. That's perfect. Oh, this is pretty. Oh, Nightingale. Gorgeous. Now for the powder. I think a little will go a long ways. Just dab it in here. It goes everywhere. It goes everywhere. It's like a smoky nightclub, right? Okay guys, this is my Sarah Vaughan look. I was really inspired by her album cover where she sung Black Coffee, and I hope to put a little bit of that tune in this video somewhere. I know, I hope I won't get caught, but anyway, I just really want you to hear it right now. So this is the look, really inspired by Sarah Vaughan's beautiful makeup looks. She, I believe, did her own makeup. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm coming away with. And I think she also used Dior products. I'm coming away with that as well because I have them, so why wouldn't she have them? She had the gowns, she had the furs, she had everything. But she died in 1990 and she was about my age. She was 66. I'm a little bit older than her. But she died from lung cancer, and they said that her voice wasn't really affected to right up to the end by the lung cancer. Yeah, it didn't seem to alter her voice that much. I think if anything, her voice became more sultry and more deep and not raspy, but just more of a baritone voice for a woman. It just inflicted that more. But she just had a lovely voice, is how I can put it. She was married several times. Some say 6, some say 7. Sometimes I hear that it was 8 times she was married. She didn't have any children from natural birth, but she adopted a daughter, and I think she's called Princess. Vaughn, I think. And yeah, she just lived a very full life. She was blessed in that way to have a natural gift of just a voice that resonated with so many people, and that I feel she could sing anything. So that is a blessing, totally a blessing. Maybe a once in a lifetime. For some people, you know, we have others. We have Mariah Carey. We had Whitney Houston. There were so many people influenced by her music. Anita Baker, Amy, what was her name? Amy Winehouse said that she really liked that lullaby song. Yes. So many people covered her music after, well, two people covered and dedicated an album to her after she was gone, but people covered her music. Her music, she chose songs that were very, very classic, but yet still in my mind a little jazzy, a little blues oriented, but she felt like, you know, like I said, she wouldn't put herself in a box. But I think she was a forerunner for many of us women, especially Black American women. And she, I think if you look back on her life, she left a legacy of just going for it, going out there, doing what you enjoy doing, and not to be put in a box, not to let anybody define you. You define yourself. And that's my takeaway from her lovely music. September, she did a song about September. She did so many beautiful songs, so many, I want to almost call them ballads, because if you didn't know her or hadn't heard her sing the songs, you heard the song somewhere else. But when you heard how she put that song to music with her melodies, with her quintet, you came away wanting to hear more of her, more of her, and more of her. And I feel like I can never get enough of her music right now. Guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you check out the other ladies, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know who your favorite jazz artist is, female of course, and any songs that come to mind. But do take a listen to Sarah Vaughan if you get a chance to. And then check out my lovely friends and their looks, and they may even tell you who they are inspired by in the jazz arena. I love you for watching. Thank you for being here. So long.